All right, so today we're going through a full back workout, and I'm sure we're gonna go through variations you've seen before, but I'm gonna give you some things to think about as we go through and really get the most out of each lift. So if you're ready, let's get after it. All right, so I'm gonna start with pull-ups, and I don't care if you're a beginner or you're advanced, I do this to everybody who walks through the door. So I pull those elbows in nice and tight, and we focus on this arcing motion with your lats, because for me, that's where you really connect with those lats, is as you're doing those pull-ups, you're gonna squeeze and keep this nice arc motion. Your elbow position is never gonna change. It's never gonna change, the angle's not gonna change, and as you go through, even if you're cheating, you're still gonna be able to engage those lats the entire time. Don't be surprised if this feels awkward at first. Like as you're coming up, if you feel like you're leaning back almost parallel to the floor, I'd rather you err on that side than leaning forward, being tucked in and pulling too much with those biceps and losing the connection with your lats. So next we got one arm rows with a landmine setup. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that you really like one arm rows, but specifically for the negative portion of it and that stretch. Because for me, that's the most important part of stretching in that lower lat that really doesn't get a lot of work unless you're focusing and trying to maneuver your body in a way that connects with it. This is the extreme example of that, because this is all that lower lat. When you stretch against these and you're actually gonna work and actively push against it, because the nice part about these is you can turn your body, face it, and really work against that stretch, and you'll feel that lower lat start to pull and wrap around your body. If you're not sure if you have lower lats or how high they are and how high they insert, take a video of yourself as you're doing these. You'll actually see where they connect, because this is the best stretch for them. You know, another nice part about these is I don't care what gym you're at. You can be at a Planet Fitness stuck with only 50-pound dumbbells. You can sneak around the corner, shove a towel in there, get these done until they obviously, catch you and kick you out. But at least you're not limited by the amount of weight they have. Next up, we got Smith bent over rows. Now, downside of this is not every gym's gonna have a Smith machine that stretches all the way to the floor and has a little bit of a tilt on it. It doesn't have to have that angle, but it's kind of nice to lean back against it. And if you don't, you can always use an alternative like a seated shrug and turn back against it and do the same exact thing. But for me, these are one of the best ways to hit that middle back, because you can shift your weight, put it all into your hips, and then everything rotates over that middle back. You're still gonna stay arched, but that pull really sits in that lower back, that Christmas tree. If you've ever competed or a fan of bodybuilding, that thick Christmas tree you get in those lower lats, this is all gonna target that. If you're a sick human being, you need to advance this just a little bit more. A couple things you could do. One of them is you can actually set the weight all the way at the bottom, let it rest a second, re-engage, and then load that back again. Or another one I love to do is keep that same motion, that same speed with the positive, but really slow that negative. We're getting into more DC style training, but do like a 4-count negative where you're really working that down, and I guarantee your back will be so lit up that you probably won't get to the 4th exercise I'm gonna show you. I don't really need straps for this. So the last exercise, which, we could just call it fire because it's just a horrible pain, is, a version I've talked about before. I'm stuck in this damn thing. A version we talked about before, which is basically the standing hyperextensions, which I love, but now we're adding a little bit of weight to it, not just to really overload it, but to compromise that back a little bit more, but also to help you shift your weight as you go, because I'll show you in a little bit, in another clip probably. As you're doing it, you're gonna push your weight back as you're going down. As you're coming up, you shift the weight into your toes. That's gonna put more stress on that middle back and really make you work against it as you're arching up. And a lot of people are gonna push back on this and say, you're not supposed to train your spinal rectus like that. I'm just gonna fight back and say, one, I think it's a good idea to, in general, just kind of work your back in a different way, but you can look to the average Joe who doesn't wanna be larger than life. Like Tim Ferriss has this in one of his books where he talks about, this is one of the first things he does in the gym. It does a little tweak and variation on it, but he grabs a straight bar, stretches all the way forward, relaxes that lower back, and re-engages and arches up, because again, it's more, for him it's more functional, but for us, it's a very useful thing to be able to actively engage that lower back, re-arch it, especially when we go heavier in squats, deadlifts, things like that. We need to know how to engage that right before we start the movement. Again, I'm not just saying this because I want you to work on mobility and flexibility and all of that. For me, all of my goals, everything I do starts with the basis of my superficial goals. Now, it sounds awful, but it's true. Let's all admit it. We have a certain way we want to look. So that's how my training starts. And from there, if I can build some more functional stuff on top of that or underneath that, I will. So for me, this is an incredible exercise. Don't discount it because it has other benefits to it. For me, this is one of the best ways to light up that lower and middle back. So I guarantee if you try this, you're going to be addicted to it. Now, obviously, if you have some sort of disc issue, again, I've had people message me, oh my God, I blew up my disc when I was 21 years old and I fell off a cliff or whatever the guy said. I think one guy was running from cops in Vegas and he fell over and they kicked him in the back and now he has a bulging disc and he can't do these. Obviously, if you have a bulging disc, don't do this. But if you have a functional working back, then by all means, give this a go. I think you're going to love it. And it's going to build some real thickness to that lower back. And also, as an added benefit, you're going to get more flexible, but you're also going to be able to re-engage that back if you ever lose it in a major heavy lift. I went to go pick this up and I had no idea how damn heavy this thing was. Makes sense, Darth Vader. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If there's a video you want to see, I'm open to it. Just put it in the comments below. Get after it, get growing. I'll talk to you soon.